let's run through the agreement for summer 2025 internships. This first paragraph just tells you this is a legal agreement between the college and between you, and it specifies the responsibilities and expectations of both parties as related to the internship experience. And we have the video because it is a legal document, and you do need to understand what you're signing and agreeing to. So the first bullet there just says you are going to be completing an internship proposal, submitting it through Handshake based on the offer that you get from the organization. And approval is going to be required from your faculty sponsor, department chair, the F1 student advisor if you are an international student, and then, of course, my office. Then the second bullet, if you're requesting financial assistance related to the internship to cover your expenses, the way you do that is just respond to question number 4 on the internship approval. You do need to understand not all internships are eligible for approval, for money, for funding. It just depends. Most of them are. It's very rare, but occasionally there's not. Of course, if it's paid by the organization, you would not be eligible for funding. But if it's paid at a rate that's not quite enough, then we would supplement that. So all those decisions regarding eligibility are specific, and they're made by, to your circumstances, and they're made by our office. And those kind of arrangements related to funding are completely outside of this agreement, okay? So the third one, you can choose to participate in an in-person, remote, or hybrid internship as approved by our office. And a copy of this agreement and the internship proposal is going to be sent to the organization for their documentation and information purposes before you start the internship. So they will know what you have already agreed to. The internship proposal identifies and provides contact information for you, the organization, the site supervisor, faculty sponsor, everybody involved. So if any one of those parties needs to reach one of the others, all the contact information is there. And then you understand that as an intern, you're not considered an employee of the organization. Although it might be paid by the organization, depending on their offer, you're not considered an employee, and you're not entitled to the benefits that would normally be for employees, like workers' compensation, unemployment, those sorts of things. The last bullet in this section says you are representing to the college and the organization that you're able to travel, live, and work independently during the full term of this internship. And that is subject to any restrictions that you disclose in writing to my office and to the organization. So let us know if there is something, that requires some kind of accommodation, or if there's a limitation that needs to be discussed before we get started in the internship. Then section number 1 here, you need to initial each one of these as we go through them. You're agreeing to perform the duties of the academic assignments described in the offer and the proposal to the best of your ability and to the satisfaction of your supervisor, and that's at the internship site, and the faculty sponsor. You're also agreeing to work the hours and times specified in the offer, understanding that time off for vacation should not be requested during the internship. That can be before the internship or after the internship, but not during the internship period. It's too short. So don't plan for that. Even if the site says, oh, that's fine, it is not fine with the college. So do not take a vacation during that internship. Now, if you need to have a day off, want to take a long weekend, if that is, you get approval with your supervisor and you're still getting more than enough hours as specified in the offer, something like that is okay. But you cannot schedule, 3 or 4 days off or a week off for vacation. You work the hours, the time period specified. It also means you don't leave early. Don't decide I want to shorten this by a week because I'm tired of it. At the end, you work the time period. It's a job offer. Then section C, you're agreeing to follow the rules, procedures, and personnel policies of the organization and be particularly mindful of those related to confidentiality. This is serious. If companies have clients or customers or proprietary information that they tell you this is confidential, and you should probably regard any of that as confidential, even if they don't specify it. But this is very serious and can have legal ramifications for you, not for the college, but for you. So make sure that you are following very carefully anything related to confidentiality, that you're following their procedures and policies, I should say. Section D, you agree to obtain the organization's written approval before you post anything on social media regarding the company, the operations, their employees, definitely their clients and customers. We love it if you post something like my internship, loving my internship, at whatever place, that's fine. Just clarify, is it okay if I do this with them? And then if your duties require that you make social media posts, that's fine. It should be only on the organization's social media, and then with their approval, of course. In E, you're agreeing to report to the assigned internship promptly, and in the event of any illness or emergency that's going to make you late or have to miss a day, you notify the site supervisor at the organization with as much notice as reasonably possible. And if an extended absence of more than 3 consecutive days from the internship is necessary because of an illness or an emergency, you are to also notify your faculty sponsor and me, the director of internships, by email. Section F, you're agreeing to follow any required safety precautions related to COVID-19, including but not limited to all of these things. Now, hopefully we are beyond the, most serious concerns with COVID-19, but this is still in effect if you needed to, if it surged and it was required for people to start wearing masks and things again, you're agreeing that you would. Then G, you are fully accepting the increased health risks related to travel and housing and work, and you release the college from any liability in this regard. That does cover COVID-19, but other things too. When you're traveling and living in different cities and things, you are exposed to other types of viruses and things. So you're accepting that increased risk. And number H, you're agreeing to be responsible for your own medical insurance while enrolled in the internship. You need to be aware that if you are on Medicaid that covers you in Kentucky, it may not cover you in another state. As a matter of fact, it generally does not. There's one or two states where it might, if there's some type of reciprocal agreement. But if you are on Medicaid and going outside of Kentucky, let us know if you need to be added to the college's insurance, and we can add you to the college insurance. And it is at a cost to you, but it's about $100 for the whole summer. And most sites will require that you have your own medical insurance. And that's important. Just, even if you got, a sinus infection or something and needed to go to an urgent treatment center where you could get a prescription, you would want to be able to do that and have it covered. Item I, you're agreeing also to have auto insurance as required by law if you're driving your own personal vehicle for commuting, and you understand that under no circumstances should you provide transportation in your personal vehicle for employees or clients of the organization. That's really important for you to understand. You don't take other people in your vehicle. It's a liability for you, and it could be a big one. So be mindful of that. Item J, you're agreeing to grant permission for the college and my office to use your name, photo, major, and internship site for informational, promotional purposes. And this would be typically in presentations, social media, online. We might put a profile of you and your internship online or something like that. Certainly, I do a presentation every year that shows where students have gone. You might be in that presentation, and it's to help other students see the types of internships that they might be able to do. So that's the main purpose of that. And then item K, you're granting permission for the college, faculty, and staff to access your students' academic and financial information as it pertains to the internship as deemed necessary for informational or reporting purposes. And what this sort of means is like your financial aid will get a copy of your funding form that if you get funds, the faculty sponsor department chairs will get copies of your proposal, that sort of thing. That's what we're talking about here. And in item L, you're agreeing to provide contact information for whoever you would like to be contacted by the college or the organization in the event of an emergency. And that's at the end of this agreement on page 2. On page 3, you'll just put in your emergency contact information. Okay, now section 2, this one, in A, you are agreeing to be responsible for all your decisions about living and travel, as well as anything related to medical treatment that you might need. That means prescriptions or therapies, things like that. Those are your responsibility during the internship. And it would also include any kind of treatment for COVID-19 if that was necessary. And under item B, in the event that emergency medical care became necessary for you and you were unable to secure it, that usually means you're unconscious, but not always. But if the college could, they may be notified by and an official representative of the College of Student Life, the college's Office of Student Life may, but are not obligated to, secure medical treatment on your behalf. This could include, but would not be limited to surgery or the administration of anesthesia. In such circumstances, the student agrees to personally be responsible for all the costs of this treatment and care. Neither the college nor its representative shall be responsible for the availability or the quality of the emergency medical care. Now, this is one of those worst case scenario statements, and quite a bit of this section is about worst case scenarios. Of course, we would reach out to your emergency contact first. But if this is one of those, dire situations, if you could not get the care you needed, we couldn't reach your emergency contacts, we could choose to try to arrange that medical treatment on your behalf. But this is, like I say, we're not responsible for the quality of it or, the availability of it. And we don't have to do it, but we typically would. We've never had to do this. Let me just say, we've never had to do this. In item C, neither the college, the Office of Internships, the organization, or any representative of the college or the organization is responsible for the cost of medical treatment. So if this was in this situation up here, if there were costs related to that, that is your responsibility, your insurance, and you. It is not the responsibility of the college or the organization. Okay, even if they made some kind of interim financial arrangement so that you could get the medical treatment, those arrangements or advance are not deemed to be a waiver of this provision, and you remain ultimately and primarily responsible for all costs of any necessary medical treatment on your behalf. Item D, you understand and agree that you're solely responsible for costs arising out of voluntary or involuntary withdrawal from the internship prior to its completion. And this includes withdrawal caused by an illness or disciplinary action by the college or the organization. And what this means is if you are fired or if you had an emergency and had to leave, that's voluntary. It's like, I need to go. That's fine, but there might be some costs associated with it. And we always look at the reasons, did this emergency take place 1 week after you started? Then in that case, of course, we'd look at what money had been lost, but you would have to pay back the funding you received if you received funding. Same thing as if you were fired. We would look at the reasons for that, and you may have to pay back there would be costs related to that. So you may have to pay that back to the college. So just be aware of that. But we do look at the reasons and try to be reasonable in deciding if any accommodation should be made. In item E, you understand that you are subject to the Berea College Code of Student Conduct throughout the internship experience, and you're also subject to discipline under the Student Judicial Code of the college because you are a student, you're out there in a class, and so you are still subject to these two codes of conduct by the college. In item F, that you understand and agree that the internship is an exercise in independent living. It's independent activity and study outside the regular programs and services of the college, and that it has been arranged by yourself. You've requested to do this internship. You are, doing this independently. But you also agree that any extracurricular activities and travel that you engage in before the internship, on the way back, or during the internship, these are not part of the internships. So, and they're at your own risk and expense. So what we're talking about is if you, decided I'm going to try to learn to surf while I am doing my internship in San Diego. If you were injured surfing, you are not injured on your internship. That's at your own risk and expense, those things that you do in your leisure time. Item G, the student understands that the college and organization have no responsibility whatsoever for your personal conduct. If you get yourself into trouble, we are not responsible for that, or your health or safety during the term of the internship, except as expressly set forth in this agreement. And in the event that the internship is with an organization that is selected or arranged through the college agrees to exercise ordinary care in such selection or arrangements, but we disclaim any responsibility for the actions or conduct of the organization, its employees, its clients, or a third party. Obviously, we don't have control over that. In section 3 here, item A, the college is agreeing to provide academic supervision of the internship course. You'll have meetings, with your faculty sponsor or communications before, during, after, and we are agreeing to evaluate the internship and the learning experience. And then if any problems arrive under item B here, we will provide counsel. Let us know, though. You have to let us know. We'll provide counsel to the student in the event any special problems that might arise. And you have to disclose them. You have to let us know what's going on if there's a problem, and we will see if we can help, solve that problem or resolve it in some way. Then item C, we are agreeing to grant academic course credit for the successful completion of the internship as described in the internship proposal. And then this agreement and the internship proposal, which is based on the offer, these constitute the entire agreement and the understanding between the college and the student with respect to the internship. This agreement shall be construed and governed in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And you are confirming that you've listened to this recorded overview and you have read, initialed, and you understand and agree to the terms of this agreement.